Welcome to the Mind Games podcast. Today, we have the greatest Division 3 and 4 Oztag player in history. He's a super impressive young guy and he's next up in the content game. I'm grateful for the yarn. Tom Jaeger. Enjoy. Alrighty, Tom Jaeger, mate. Welcome to the Mind Games podcast. How are we doing?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for having me. We've been trying to tee this up for a while, so
We have, mate. Very grateful. Massive fan.
thank you.
I was just saying it a little bit off camera. It's a lot of guys in the rugby league space have that second year syndrome. You seem to you're a bit closer to like a good bender. Day two is generally better than day one.
I'll take that because second syndrome is undefeated across rugby league history. So I reckon you could probably argue I'm in my second year at the moment about that. So just trying to fight day by day to not suffer from it.
Talk me through the building blocks you put in day by day to build through that.
Mate, far out. Where do I start? It's sort of just taken a weird turn recently. Like even I was getting real like fat in my head about like how I was eating, and I was like, so this year I thought I'll start something that's a bit different. I'll start Monday Confessions, and the whole purpose of the Monday Confessions was just so I have to document my food and post it every week, so it can never be that bad. And obviously, if you've watched any of them, it still gets pretty fucked. But just trying to find different ways to do things, you know. Like,
yeah, still the Greek yogurt way out of trouble.
Got a Greek yogurt your way out of trouble. I couldn't believe how many people actually got around that as a concept. Apparently a lot of people understood it, which is good.
So good. Well, I guess that probably brings us to how this kind of got started. I want to talk a little bit about your story previously, but this kind of content journey started because you were going to be a PT.
Yeah.
And prior to getting the gig as a PT, you essentially had to do a 9-week course and you thought you'd document the journey.
Yeah, pretty much. And probably a similar concept to what the Monday Confessions is now, where I was working at Vision Bondi Junction at the end of the year, and it was like they make you do 9 weeks just to learn the ropes as a trainer. Like you have to do 9 weeks as a client. And I was like, found myself, I got pretty crook and then put on a bit of weight, so I needed it anyway. And I was like, I might as well have a different page to my music page for when I'm a PT next year, and makes sense to document it. Like I'm less likely to eat a burger if I'm posting about not eating a burger. And yeah, it was initially just like a page where would have had like 20 followers, and most of them were just mates where they sort of got the whole joke, you know what I mean? And it was just me talking about like not eating a burger as if it was like a decider at Suncorp. And it was working for me. And then I sort of made a promise to myself where I was like, oh, I should post every day as well because it'll sort of keep me in it. And it was. And I was sitting in a servo car park. It was like fucking 8 o'clock at night. I hadn't posted yet that day, and I'd just been in to like have like a sauna and an ice bath and shit. I was like, fuck, I haven't posted yet. So I post this fucking video of me just talking about how I haven't had a snack pad but just had an ice bath and gonna have a muscle chef instead, sort of thing. Shit lighting and no captions, and it was like such an average video, but it just went fucking huge because people were just like going, this guy's got to be fucking kidding me. Like, is he actually serious? Like this chubby guy sitting there like as if he's Ned Brockman because he didn't get a snack pack, so got fucking rinsed out of nowhere. I still remember like the couple of days after, like just kept going and going and going, and I was just like, oh fuck, like
This is
what
real.
is going on? Like,
Oh, that's gold. We'll come back to that. So, Eastern Suburbs boy, where'd you grow up?
So first sort of 10, 12 years of my life, I grew up in Bondi.
What's the mean streets of Bondi, eh?
Yeah, the main streets of Bondi, opposite the Royal.
Yeah, okay.
Pre-toddies. So it used to be good because we were directly across the road, like 3 a.m, you'd hear like some punch-ons and shit, which was pretty funny. But you know, now it's like a Justin Hems venue and that. I'm sure you still get a bit of that on that side of it. But yeah, it was mad. Like grew up there and played footy for not Bondi United, but for St. Charles, which was like a club up the road near the school I went to, and did nippers at Bondi and all that. And Dad was like a clubby at Bondi when he was younger. And then when we were about when I was 12 or 13, we moved to Queen's Park, and I went to Waverley College, and that's sort of where we train and play. So I was lucky enough for then most of my high school, I grew up across the road from where we train and play our games and stuff. So it was different to being in Bondi, but it was mad. Like my whole life revolved around school footy essentially, like most blokes that go to a footy school. So
that's cool. What position you play?
So I played.
Because the audience, for contents, all the comments have been saying I don't have enough hands and ball playing middle forwards on the.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a shortage. There's definitely a shortage of us, that's for sure. I was always like a bigger kid, so I'd play front row, but it was really this will sort of make a lot of sense as to like why I'm such a fuckwit. So I played in a Div 2 side growing up for most of it, right?
Yeah.
And if I ever played any like junior rep stuff, like any development or anything like that, I'd be a front rower. But for our Div 2 side, I was like a 6. And I'd like take hit ups and then I'd like, run the shape and stuff and kick. And in union, I was a front rower mainly, but then in the 14s, I was like, I'd lost a bit of weight, got a bit taller. I was like, I'll go for inside centre because like always at heart, like I loved ball playing, hated contact deep down. Like I'd get up for it on game day, but I was just like, fuck this.
Fuck, I didn't even get up for it on game
Yeah,
day.
yeah. I was probably giving myself too much credit anyway. But I was like, I'll go for inside centre. So I trialled inside centre, and then the following Monday, like the coach pulls me out of the classroom. He's like, "Oh, you trialled really well at inside centre, but like we're not that good. Like we don't have that many front rowers. Like, do you reckon you can still play front row?" So I did. So then for the rest of like high school, I was essentially a front rower, a little bit of number 8, and then I got cut from Harold Matt's Roosters like about 5 seconds in. And after that, I was like, fuck, I just want to try and play first 15. Like I sort of knew I wasn't good enough with league.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just want to play ones at school. So got real fat, played prop, ended up playing first, which is lucky. So just fatted my way into the side. But yeah, mainly a front rower.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So there's more chicken burging your way out of trouble in those days.
Yeah, I used to like there's some old videos that were just fucking like I used to love watching strongmen on YouTube. And you would have seen like, have you seen Eddie Hall and shit, how they eat? I just mirrored that, which was so dumb in hindsight.
Like his challenge videos and shit.
Yeah, and just even just their day in the life eating. Like you look at these 6'9" guys who are trying to be the strongest blokes on the fucking planet. I'm trying to be a rugby player. It was so dumb, but I was eating like them. It was fun. I don't know. I reckon I've taken years off my life the way I ate in like year 11 and 12. There are videos. I'll try to find some that I can send you, but it's just like I'd eat like a whole packet of steaks. It's like, why? So unnecessary. So I went from like being 88 kilos to like 103 in like the space of like 12 months.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it was completely unnecessary.
So what brought in like wanting to be a PT?
I think
Lose weight.
yeah. Coach myself out of obesity. No, I sort of throughout. Like, if you were to look at photos of me from like, even from childhood through my teen years, post school, like I would sort of just yo-yo a lot.
Yeah.
So there'd be photos where you'd see I'm quite overweight. There'd be photos where you'd be like, oh, you look all right, sort of thing.
I reckon you can. Well, for the ones I've seen, you see it in your face, eh?
Yeah. And like, I don't know, I was always so extreme with stuff. Like I would either be fully in like fucking worried about what sauces I was having, like just staunch, or I'd be like just fucking off the rails with the food, you know what I mean? So this was part of the page and starting it. I hadn't really seen anyone that was like, you'll normally find people who are super fit, but very serious and like no disrespect to them, but they just suck. Like they're not funny and they just fucking seem like, I don't know, everything's just such a big deal.
And it's all the
time.
same too.
It's all the same. And it's all like, fuck, like, it's fine. Like, if that's what works for you, and like some people, like, it just becomes such a part of their identity that it's like, I don't know, just being so on and so like, I don't eat that stuff and this. And for me, it was never going to be like that. But there was no one that sort of had a little bit of both. People were either like really funny and loose, but like they weren't that fit. Yeah. Or they were the other way around where they took themselves too seriously and they were super fit and successful and stuff. And so I think part of me was like I thought if I started a page for my mates where I could take the piss along the way. So I did seriously want to try and get up. Part of me was like, you want to be a PT next year and like you're overweight. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So part of me wanted to get a really good result. And I was like, the only way I'm any chance here is if I'm enjoying it. And then at some point along the way, it then turned into like this whole fucking thing of just getting sprayed. And like that was so good for my accountability myself. And I was having fun responding to hate comments because that's the other thing. Like at the start, I pretty much was like, if this does get any sort of attention, good or bad, like people are allowed to have their opinion, you know what I mean? And I probably underestimated the fact, and that's where like, say like with Guru, having him, and he said to me one day when I was copping it pretty bad, and like I was always fine with it, but when he said this to me, it was like a penny dropped where he was like, you just got to remember that some people are coming across these reels, they've never seen you before. Like they do not know who you are, and that is their first impression of you. And the second that he said that, I was like, I would think I'm a fuckwit as well, actually. That makes a lot of sense. So from then on, it was just kind of like, it is what it is. Like, I'm just going to do what I'm doing. And if people get around it, great. If not, like, it's sweet. Like, I don't really believe in this whole, I think tall poppy syndrome as a concept is a thing in certain parts of society, but if people think you're a fuckwit online, like they're allowed to. That's not tall poppy syndrome. That's like, you know, if you're a comedian and people don't find you funny, that's okay. Well, that's their right and that's their take. That doesn't make them a bad person. And like, I hate seeing that where someone will post something wanky and then people go, "You're a wanker," and they're like, "Oh, tall poppy syndrome." It's like, no, like you're just not everyone's cup of tea. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
So
well, the thing is with though, like this is a little bit tall poppy syndrome, but if let's just use say someone like a Kalen Ponga, or a Nathan Cleary, these guys probably let's say Nathan, because I've actually got a good example of this. He is achieving what every single person in rugby league sets out to achieve in their life. He's probably the furthest along, and who's a current player who's doing all that.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he's copying more comments about his chin online than me and you are copying in terms of good or bad comments.
100%.
And there's literally, like, realistically, you can say you don't think he's a good looking bloke or whatever. I think he's a glamour. But it's probably a bloke who doesn't own a mirror at home, who's 140 kilos, sitting there going, kick it with your chin, Cleary, which is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Yeah. But if that's going to happen about him, or that's going to, people are going to say Kalen Ponga's fucking whatever, like, it's going to happen to us. I look at someone like Latrell, how much he cops. Roosters legend Latrell.
Yeah, he's a Roosters legend, absolutely.
How much, like, he cops, like, everyone's going to cop it. It's just the way it is, and you sort of can't let it.
It's funny, though, like, I remember I've and this is no word of a lie, I've had conversations with people. This is post the Brisbane Broncos grand final where Cleary, like, came back and beat them. Yeah. Where people go, oh, like, you know, it's because of his dad. I'm like... you know, and you're just not sure. Like, and this never really happens to me. I just wasn't sure how to respond. I was like, that has to be a jail. He's won 3 NRL premierships in a row. Like, there's guys that win 2 in a career and they fucking ride the media wave forever because it's a massive achievement. Yep. He's won 3 in a row and you reckon it's because his dad's the coach? Like, get fucked.
And also the player that, and you know, whether you agree with it or not, I'm indifferent at the moment. Everyone who says he's the greatest player ever at the moment is probably Joey. Yes. And he won 2. Yeah. Cleary won 3 in a row.
100%. And, you know, and what you just said, that's an example of, and that's what I mean, where I think tall poppy syndrome as a concept is real. But I'm talking about, like, you know, someone will post like a pretty red hot opinion on like what they think about business or about women or about something, where it's like pretty it's a divisive thing, and there's people that are on the other side of that opinion, and they sit there and go, oh, you know, you're hating on me, like, tall poppy syndrome. It's like, no, like, that's just not what it is. And I think with my stuff, like, especially at the start, like, I was a chubby guy talking about, like, losing weight and shit. Like, it's a pretty easy target, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's a fair enough target too. Like, so I think it would have been stupid to sit there and be like, oh, like, fuck, like, you know, why are people so mean? It's like, well, like, don't do it then. You know what I mean? Like, don't like, no one's making you post. Yeah, yeah. And if I'm allowed to post about whatever the fuck I want, then, like, I think people should be allowed to have their take on it as well. So
I love it. I love that perspective.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
That's
so
for sure.
Can we swing it back a little bit to music?
Yes.
So when did that start?
I sort of played music like my whole life. So I sort of started playing piano when I was 4 or 5, and started playing guitar when I was sort of 10 or 11. And it's so much more fun if you like singing with it. Like, obviously when you're playing, like, you want to play songs that you like, and so I'd always just sing with it or whatever, and end up singing in my HSC, and like that was like the one subject I actually did all right in music. And then was doing like some of it post school here and there, and then I'm trying to remember, like, one of my best mates who I played footy with growing up, he's an indie artist in Sydney. His name's Will Baker, and we used to be like the 2 guys from the footy team that would do music as well. So we sort of would do that a lot as well. So we'd like train together, and then we'd go and just play, and we ended up writing a fair few songs together, and a few of the songs he's put out, like, I've written with him and vice versa. And I don't know, like, I think during 2020, like during COVID and then the year after, I wrote a lot of songs, and then when I stopped playing footy, I was just sort of like, I want to actually like record some music and put it out there properly. So I did in 2023 and 2024, and was lucky enough to like play some shows, and with him as well, like playing in his band. And yeah, it's a whole different world, eh? Like, it was really cool, because in that indie world, like, it's just a different vibe to what I guess I am. Yeah. But like, everyone was so nice, and it was sick. But I really aligned with country music because it was almost like a bit of a joke when people would meet me in indie, in the indie stuff where they'd be like, oh yeah, footy. Like I was like the meathead guy, and like it was fair enough because like I was nowhere near the musician that a lot of them were, but it's quite common in country music. Like a lot of them were like D1 athletes and shit. And I was like, that's kind of cool that they do both.
Yeah.
Because I think in Australia, like it's not as common to like be a muso and play sport and stuff.
100%.
So I think I aligned a lot with that with country music. And one of my best mates who I used to play footy with, he was a Samoan guy, and he was his name was Levi, and he ended up playing like professionally for Samoa, but he was from the Central Coast and he used to stay at my place for when we had training early and stuff. And
what's his surname?
Levi Milford.
Okay.
No relation to Anthony, I believe, but he was a good player, but he was travelling every day from the Central Coast, 2 hours each way. And if we had training early, he'd stay at my place, and like a lot of the Islander boys do, like he used to carry around a speaker and he'd play everything under the sun. There was a few like country music songs that he played. I was like, the fuck's that? That's mad. Like,
yeah.
And then just sort of got into it from there, ended up writing a few of my own. It was pretty funny because like writing country music and you grew up in Bondi and Queen's Park, like it's a bit fucking stupid. But
you know what's also funny is like when I first sort of started seeing you post that, I know the music came first.
Yeah.
I thought you were taking the piss.
Yeah.
And then I listened to a couple and I was like, oh, these are actually fucking mad.
Yeah. Well, it's weird though, because like I was always, I don't take it that seriously. Like I really like writing and stuff, and I like playing. It's mad. It's good fun, but like, I'm not one of these guys where like I want to sit there with my legs crossed around the campfire and have everyone listen to me sort of thing. Like it's just sort of like I enjoy doing it, you know.
So were you looking to do that career-wise, or was it just a bit of fun?
I was like, so when I started releasing music and stuff, I was like, and it's one of those weird things where, especially these days, there's no real clear path with that stuff, just because of like how accessible music is now. It's very hard to sort of like, you can make really good money playing live music and playing a lot of cover gigs. Like there's people that like I think it'd be pretty slept on how good some of the money is in cover gigs and stuff like that. But to do your own thing and try and push through, it's very, very tough. And I randomly had this like label in Nashville reach out to me in 2023. Like
really?
just woke up super hungover one morning and had this message in my DMs. Anyway, we ended up meeting with them a few times, and they like anyone under 25. They meet with you and your parents. So Dad and I met with them like a couple of times, and
they flew out or just online? Just
online, and the thing was, if I was going to sign them, I'd have to move over there, and we'd fly over there to sort of meet them and sign and whatever. Yeah. But I don't know, it was something in me that just wasn't like, and I think it's funny how it's played out because it wasn't something that I wanted that badly, obviously. Otherwise you'd do that, right? There was probably part of me that thought I did, and then when it sort of came to it, to actually have the conversation about, well, is this something that you want to do? I was like, fuck, well, I'm coaching a footy team here, and I like my life here, and I don't think just started. So I was like, if this is something I really want to do, like I've got time. Yeah. I'm so glad that like I didn't sort of jump in at the first opportunity there, because it was like there's no Sydney Roosters in Nashville or anything like that. So it's like would have played out a bit differently. So
no, it's state comps either, I don't think, is it?
Yeah, I don't think they're playing all state there yet. They are playing in London. I found out a few weeks ago. They've got full park comps in London.
Surprised they haven't reached out to you to promote it.
No, I had a message from the guy. He's like, hey, we just won our comp in London. Just thought I'd let you know. I was like, firstly, congratulations, obviously. I was just like, fucking, like, what do you mean? Like, you're just running around, like, they've got park comps over there now. I reckon it's, saw the stats on, there's like 500,000 players in Australia.
Crazy.
Now. Yeah.
And still the greatest Division 3 and 4 player there is.
And that's what blew me away the most about the numbers. I'm better than this many people. It's crazy.
That's gold. Well, anyway, so we've chatted about the eastern suburbs.
Yeah.
Did you play with any decent players growing up?
Yeah. Probably way more than I deserve to.
Yeah.
I remember, played with Ronald Volkman, who's at Para now, and he was like so crazy.
Different gravy, yeah.
At that age, and like, you know, first and stuff, and we had a few other guys in our team that, like David Mawali.
Yeah.
Right. He's in Melbourne now.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like the nicest guy. Like, you see how he plays, and you're like, fuck, like it's hard to like separate the two. A few Union boys as well, like Miles Amatisero, who's at the Tars now, and he went over and played in France, and Clayton Thorne, who's at the Brumbies.
And then you played Talis Duncan a bit too, didn't you? Or?
Yeah, so I played mainly against Talis, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay.
But I played a few like junior Roosters games with him, and it was always better being on his team than against him. And then played. He mustn't have been making Flegg. It was for like 2 weeks after his first SG ball season finished. So they sent him back to play with our under-20s Dolphins team. And it would have been the toughest 2 weeks of his life. I think he played like 1 or 2 weeks with us, and then they had him playing A grade, and then there must have been an injury in Flegg, and then he sort of just did his thing and debuted like 12 months later. And then also, my main claim to fame is I tackled Joey Suoliti once. We played against Kings out at Combank now.
Yeah.
And it had just opened up, and we were playing before it was like a Wallabies game or before a Waratahs game. I can't remember. But Penasini and Suoliti were their centres, and they both would have been about 3 years. Actually, Penasini's I think my age, but Suoliti would have been like year 10 or something.
Yeah.
And anyway, as I sort of alluded to before, I was quite a fat prop. And we've kicked downfield, and he was at the back. He's caught the ball, and I'm running, and I was like, fuck, like, this guy is about to just do me on Combank in front of fucking everyone. Like, most of the school was there from both schools and shit, and people were starting to roll in for the actual game. But because I was so slow, I was behind one of the back rowers. I thought, oh, fuck, here we go. So I sort of hid behind the back rower. He's like stepped the back rower, and then I've made the most passive legs tackle of all time and just held on for dear life. And I remember thinking in the moment, like, no one's ever going to hit him. This is fucking bad.
This is ammo forever.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, those, like, if you're not involved in those private school, like, footy environments, I suppose, you don't really realise how much of a big thing it is. Like, Connor went to Knox, Connor Watson, and went to 1 or 2 of his games when he was coming through there. And, like, he's fucking running down the sideline, pointing to the crowd and shit with, like, debts at a few thousand people there and stuff. And, like, you don't do that when you're 16. Like, that's unreal.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a college environment, really. College sport.
It's probably like the closest thing we've got to it here,
yeah.
you know, and like especially a lot of the GPS schools, like they're massive, and it'd be cool. I think it has the capability to be bigger too. Like Steve Hoyles, who he was the coach at Randwick when they won the comp a few years ago.
Yeah,
and he's doing some good stuff.
He used to own F45 in Coogee.
Yeah. So Hoyles, he's got a good idea around. He reckons it'd be cool to follow the American system, where I think you go high school games Friday night, club on Saturday, and then the pros on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think you'd see it get even bigger if they were to do something like that, because a lot of the boys now, like even when I was playing down at Randwick, like if you're playing, you're either playing at a time that clashes with your school, like your old first team, or you're staying back to watch the higher grades there. So like you sort of have to pick one. Whereas if they're not clashing, I think you get way bigger crowds.
100%. You can set out your whole weekend.
That would bring like sponsors if you want to go down that path as well for the school staff. Like when we played in the comp in Japan in year 12. We played against Paul Roos, which is like one of the most famous South African schools.
Yeah.
They had like supplements and fucking like Canterbury sponsored their jerseys and shit.
Yeah,
It's just a whole different world. So.
But even alignment in terms of like a clear pathway, because at the moment with rugby, right, there's not really you finish year 12, you're playing Australian schoolboys, and they're like, oh, you might play some under-20s games for the Tars if you're lucky, so you're in like sort of a squad, and then an NRL team's like, well, here's a top 30 contract,
Mate.
So Angus Crichton, come enjoy.
This annoys me so much because it's like, and when you talk about no direct pathway, like there was a guy who, in my year that I played Colts down at Randwick, he played seconds Colts for uni. Then he was training with the top Waratahs squad at the end of the year. I was like, nothing against him, but I was like, fucking, he just jumped like 14 grades. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was sitting there, I was just like, how does that work? You don't get that in the league.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you won't have some guy just picked from obscurity into like a top squad.
Yeah.
Where, like, there is a clear path. And it would be cool to have that in union, because I think like at the moment, it's such a, like as you just said, it's such a hard sell. It's like, oh, you'll have to work and you might get to play sometimes in like a junior game, or it's like, no, you can be like a full-time footy player and put time in, and which makes it tough. But
anyway, conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the page. So you're still doing the music. You've started growing the page. You've obviously had that one post that went pretty bonkers, and you started probably realizing there might be a bit in this.
Yeah, well, it was weird. Like there was the first one.
But did you actually start being a PT, or did that just?
No, I was full-time PT last year for like from about December 2024 until I left halfway through July.
Okay.
Just to do some footy coaching and just try and have a bit more time to put into the content stuff. And it was a really hard decision to make because I loved it there. I was mad. It was such a good job. And but yeah, it was weird. It wasn't like I started getting all this like attention. I was like, fuck, there's something in this. Like I could do something with this. It was more just like this whirlwind of all these comments and like sending hate from East Queensland and shit like that. And I just respond to them and just have a bit of a laugh responding to them. And then those videos were sort of going well and I was getting more of them and just sort of fell into it, I guess. Like, yeah, it was never something that I planned to be anything, you know.
Yeah, okay.
So it's funny looking back on the last year or so. Like, sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, like, even the idea of the first OzTag videos that I did.
Yeah, where did that idea come from?
Mate, it's the fucking weirdest, like, trail to follow where in July, which isn't even like an actual OzTag season, like I'm sure they play year round now, but like...
As in last year?
Last July.
So as in like 9 months ago?
9 months ago. I make this video on my own, like just with my phone on a balcony where I like, it was like a mockumentary style about OzTag sort of thing. And it went okay relative to what my followers were at the time. I would have had like maybe 4,000 followers at the time, if that. And the video was okay, but like didn't really do anything. But I was like, I thought it was a good concept of a video and whatever. I never thought about it again. And then one day in like October, I get this email from Benny at New South Wales OzTag, and he's like, hey mate, you know, we want to do this, like, we'd love to collab with ya. We really like the idea of this. And there's a link and it's like an Instagram link. I'm like, what the fuck's this? So I click on it. And it's that video from July. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. So anyway, we went and did it, and like they're all guns at what they do with like the camera work, and it ended up going so much bigger than any of us. I think bigger than anyone. I think there'd be anyone that would have watched that video and thought, how the fuck's this happening? Like, and then from there, like they wanted to do some more stuff, so we did, and it's like it's always fun to do that stuff. But then Manly were like, oh, we saw what you did with OzTag, like we want to do a thing, and then so I did the Manly draw release with them, and it was just kind of like,
yeah, that was chaos.
Yeah,
I when it popped up, I was like, this is fucking hilarious.
And it was fucking, it was just bizarre, like, because it was just like from. They referenced the OzTag thing that referenced back to a video that I did that no one really saw.
Yeah. So are you writing these own gags yourself?
Yeah, well, when I do it, like it's always, and this was the other funny thing about like, you know, interacting with people that wanted to do stuff. It was like, oh, like, do you sort of write scripts? And I was like, nah, like I just sort of
riff it,
just go off the top. Yeah, and everyone that I've done anything with so far, they've been so good like that in terms of that's just how we do it. You know, like I think you get the best stuff like that. You can sort of try and plan stuff out, but at least with what I want to do, like it's just. And I've always tried to make a point of sometimes like I'll make a video and I was like, fuck, that would have been so good to say, but I won't redo it. I'll just leave it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, eventually you get found out for that, I reckon. You know what I mean? And it's sort of, to me, it loses.
Keep it for next time anyway.
Well, I'm just like, it always has to be like I enjoy it first. You know what I mean? And if it's like if I know that I've done that, it'll just bother me a bit. And I reckon eventually people would pick up on that where it's like, oh, this is rehearsed.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
So where did like calling it like the greatest Division 3 and 4 player, or where did all this sort of stuff come from? Is this like, so I've heard you reference it before, and it's like you go to like OzTag games and there's just a random bloke on the piss, or like you go to the pub and there's a random bloke on the piss actually saying this sort of stuff to you. Yeah, it's going. And you're just like, keep coming.
I started when I was sort of like I'd started the page and I lost a bit of weight and it sort of aligned that OzTag season started. So I just started making like OzTag content myself about like, you know, if I scored a try, I'd be like, oh yeah, Tom Jaeger, $1.20 any time sort of thing, or like I'd sort of go into it a bit and just sort of dramatise it and talk about it like it was professional. And obviously, like a lot of people, if you don't know me, like I could tell that they were trying to suss me out in terms of is this guy fucking serious? And this is like still like one of my favourite things about like when I look back on the last 12 months is I would have people sometimes come up to me and I could tell that they were sort of like not trying to take the piss out of me, but trying to sort of suss me out. And they were like, hey, tell me like you're playing OzTag. And I'd just go, oh, yeah, like, do you play? And 5 minutes later, we'd still be sitting there and go, like, some of the boys know how to run shape, but, like, some of them don't, you know? Like, it's fucking annoying because, like, I reckon we could actually, like, win the thing, but, like, you know, when some of the boys are letting you down and, like, they're getting real into it, I'm like, this is mad because, like, the whole joke is, like, obviously...
You are the joke.
Well, yeah, but, like...
No, like, you're saying to this bloke.
Yeah,
that's
right.
You.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, it's funny because everyone sort of gets really into it when they're there, and then there's, like, another level. And there's always, like, even the first time I did the stuff with New South Wales OzTag, we filmed like the preamble mockumentary stuff. And there was a game in between and then they were micing me up for my game. And at the game in between, I was just sort of sitting on the sideline and this bloke comes off and he would have been like in his 30s and it's half time. He sort of looks at his team. He's like, guys, I know we're here for fun, but for fuck's sake, like, and he sort of sprays me and I just sort of sat there with my back to him, just listening, just going, just rattled this off word for word and it would fucking go bananas. Like, I think that's why it sort of works is because like people watch it and I've even had a few of my like sort of friends be like, is that based on me? Like, And I'm always like, no, you're sweet.
You literally just repeated what they said.
Yeah.
Did you start copping it when you were playing Oztag and you're making all this content? Or is it funny now when you're playing as well?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I used to, I was playing in like a mixed grand final at the start of last year with like, you know, my mates, and we ended up getting done. And this is actually the best. There were these guys on the sideline that sort of bagging me out or whatever, and I was sort of like, yeah, sweet, like it's all like have a laugh. The one thing that they filmed that game was me sort of showing under and then putting like the best kick I've ever put into my life. One of the boys I've used it a million times, obviously. Like, and I just couldn't believe it. Like, we've walked off the field and sort of like the blokes were giving it to me, and I was like, fuck, you know, didn't really care we lost the game, sort of thing. I've then had like the story sent to me like 10 times. I've just gone, oh, this is better than winning. This is fucking unbelievable. Like, yeah, it's got more airtime. Like, there'd be plays that Joey Johns has done that have not gotten the airtime because I've pushed this thing so fucking hard. But yeah, so not really copping it though. Like, some people, like, most people are pretty good. Like, even, I don't know if you saw the one that I did up in Coffs with Oztag, but the bit where I walk in and there's a Central Coast huddle, like, they're like, for anyone that doesn't know, they're like the Penrith Panthers of like the State Cup. And I sort of learnt all this. I've never been to a State Cup or anything, so I'm sort of getting filled in on the go up there. They're like, yeah, they've won the last 5 or 6 years or something. And I'm like, okay, cool. All right, there's a bit in the video where I walk in and this guy's talking to his side, and I sort of go, yeah, that's enough out of you, and then I take over. He's like the Australian captain. And like, all these guys are freaks. Like, who the fuck am I? And they were all like mad, like got around it, like gave me a jersey to wear in the video. Like, so it only works, I reckon, because like in Australia we've just got such a good like culture of like taking the piss, and nothing's too serious. So yeah, it wouldn't really work unless you got people like that. You know?
That's fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Well, do you think, were you like maybe giving away some of your material, but were you tinkering to other sports as well, or are you?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm definitely open to it for sure. Like, I think it was funny. Like, I did a video with the Sixers in like December. Yeah, okay. And the vibe initially was like, oh yeah, come in, like you can warm up with the boys and stuff. But then apparently they got fucking pumped the night before or 2 nights before. So we got there and they're like, oh, like you can't go in there. Like, you just got to sort of hang around the outside. And so we ended up making like a pretty fun video. But it was like, yeah, it would have been funny having to go in there and try and pretend I know how to play cricket. You know what I mean? But like, it's more about like, if it's fun and it works, like I'm down. Like, fuck it, it's not. Yeah, I never thought about it that deeply, so I still sort of try and go about it like that, you know? Like,
yeah, cool. So look, when opportunities are coming up, are you sort of taking the mindset of just going to jump at things, or how are you sort of approaching this? Are you pretty cautious in terms of who you sort of give your time to, or how's it sort of working?
Yes and no, I think. Like, I'm always open to like talking about doing stuff with people or whatever. And I think, yeah, sort of, you'd be silly not to explore things properly. But I'm also kind of like, I want to make sure that it's stuff that's like authentic to me and that I actually do care about, or that I like believe in. Yeah. Because I think it's like what I was saying before about like, if you start trying to script it too much, like you get found out eventually. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, for me, it's not about, the reality is I've been very lucky in the last 12 months, the trajectory it's taken, where I've got some opportunities that I never thought I would. You know what I mean? That's really cool. I'm grateful for that. But the reality is I didn't start it with the intention of trying to do anything crazy. So I just try and be very like, don't do anything that seems like greedy or that's like not who you are, because like that's not what this was meant to be. So
I love that.
Yeah, I always try and come back to that.
For sure. There's a lot of lessons in that too. So I guess with that as well, you do have a family member who kind of paved a little bit of the way in a sense.
Absolutely.
Not like not in the probably taking the piss way, but he did it in a way of well, he's a rugby league guru. He's your cousin.
He's my cousin. Yeah. So his dad and my mum are siblings.
Yeah, okay. And he's, I guess, paved a career for himself, and full hats off to him, because it's unreal what he's done, which obviously he's never played NRL or anything like that.
Yeah.
Imagine just making a page calling yourself the Rugby League guru. I think it was Supercoach Guru to start with or something.
Yeah,
but
initially it was.
Yeah, calling yourself the Rugby League guru and then going and having serious takes. In terms of people spraying him, he'd be copping it more than most I would assume.
Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe not as much anymore, but you definitely would have for a number of years. What sort of advice has he given you? And then also, like, what do you lean on him much? I know you're doing a show and stuff together there.
Yeah. Mate, yeah, he's been massive, and like, you know, growing up, we'd go through different stages where he was really big for me, like even prior to the content stuff, in terms of just learning certain things and being able to go to him about certain things. And he, like you talk about him starting a page and not really having a place to start on, like similar to, I guess, my concept in terms of, I spoke before about how all my friends sort of knew my humour, right? Anyone around him knows how much he like just loves footy and how he just watches everything, and like he's made a bit of a thing out of the CBA stuff, right? In terms of being able to pick guys from nowhere. He's been doing it for ages. Like he used to be able to fucking just tell you about a kid who's playing like Harold Matts, and you're like, fuck, how do you know this? Like, you know.
So he goes and watches Harold Matts at Shibboleth and shit.
Yeah, and like to be fair, like our cousin, like his brother Josh, is down at Melbourne at the moment. He was
with the Roosters, wasn't he?
He was with the Roosters, so he won Fleet Player of the Year, and then he signed, and he's down there playing cup. So as Josh has sort of come through the pathways, obviously Nate's been around the game, but he's always just had tabs on, like, he just loves it. You know what I mean? He wants to know who's coming through, and he's always been very good at that. So when he started the page, of course, you're going to have people that don't know him going, fuck, who are you to say anything? But I think he had a few things, like he called Harry Grant. He said Harry Grant was the second best hooker in the NRL behind Cameron Smith before he'd even debuted.
Yeah, he did.
6 months later, he gets loaned to the Tigers, has a breakout year, he's playing Origin, whatever. So he had a few of those. He said Ruben Cotter would play Origin before he'd even really cracked the Cowboys side. Hopgood. So he's had a few guys where I think, amongst a lot of other things, where people sort of start to go, okay, like this guy obviously like knows his stuff. And that was probably a massive lesson for me, is like with anything, like whether it's a business, content, anything you want to do, it's going to take time to, I guess, not even like earn people's respect, but just to sort of, for people to get to know you properly. And I think that's why it was good having him. I mentioned before when he was like, when he sort of said to me, just remember when people watch your content, like it's the first look that they get at you. They don't know who you are. That's, of course, they're going to take it at face value. Like, that was quite reassuring at a time when it was like pretty hectic. But yeah, like it's so lucky to be able to like do a show together now, and you know, like
how did the show come about? He just pulled you in and said, "Let's."
He sort of asked me about it. Like he was like, "Would you be interested?" And I was like, "Obviously, I'd be interested." This was like last year, before sort of I had quite a big few months. That was prior to that. He was sort of like, "I'd love to do it." And I was like, "That's awesome." So we sort of spoke about it, and obviously there's a lot of moving parts with different things. So we sort of got it confirmed and ready to go, sort of January, Feb, and it's so like it's funny because we've always talked footy together, and it's funny to be doing it like on his platform that he's built for himself. It's mad. So yeah, like even that, like I never would have thought that would be something that we'd be doing, but we are. So just
talk me through the family group chats. Is there like is it a lot of cousins?
There's 10 of us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you have a cousins group chat?
We've got a few that float around with a few different ones. So like even two of the boys are doing, like my brother and one of our other cousins, they're both doing 75 hard together at the moment. And stuff like that. And a few of us are playing tag tonight in the same team. Yeah.
Well, what I mean more so is like are the rest of the cousins watching the show and he's getting feedback off the back of it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, for sure. Like even I accidentally, we were in an argument about fullbacks last year, like me and one of the other boys, and I've gone, Connor Tracy from the Sharks just had a mind blank. He's obviously been at the Bulldogs for a fair while. Just in the moment trying to win the argument. Connor Tracy and the Sharks, I still haven't heard the end of it. He then tried to throw him under the bus when he's a Titans fan. He's one of the 4 Titans fans out there. And maybe 2 years ago, I didn't know who Jalen DeGroot was. And he tried to group that in the same thing. I was like, I'll wear the Connor Tracy one because that's poor from me. Yeah. The Jalen DeGroot one, like, I'm sorry. Like, he's obviously had some good games. I definitely know who he is
Netherlands,
now.
great.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, no, we're a very footy family. That's what most of the family gatherings growing up revolved around, either talking footy or very poorly playing footy outside of Josh, obviously.
Yeah. So he goes good.
Yeah, he's always gone good. Like he's a good kicker and just sees the game
half,
well.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, but like along the way at different points because of injuries and other things, like played a bit of fullback, he played centre, 6, like. But yeah, he's doing well. Yeah,
nice. Tell me, have you had a bit of a Paul Carriage moment at all in the content game, or is it all been pretty going all right?
I think I've been okay so far in the content stuff in terms of like nothing too bad. Like because obviously the hard thing too is like a lot of the time it's meant to be bad. You know? It's sort of hard to laugh. But when you asked me at the Paul Carriage moment, I was thinking about, I didn't think about content. I thought about like just sort of over the years. So I've really gone deep, and I don't know if you noticed, but like sometimes when I put up, you know how like I'll put up my steps most nights?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll put like a graffiti S for streaks. Do you remember streaks from back in the day?
Yeah, the 3.
So when you were talking about Paul Carriage moments, I think my number one Paul Carriage moment would be when I was sort of 16 or 15. I'd sent streaks, and then I was like, I'm gonna send like a separate one, like a few different girls. Like sort of feel myself thinking, yeah, like I'll send
them in a group.
I'll send the same one to a few. Yeah, I made a group chat. You've never seen scramble defense like it. You've never seen scramble like seriously. Like you can imagine on the Snapchat. Like I've pressed send, thinking this will go to like the 4 of them. I've then seen the same like loading circle. Yeah, obviously the group chat didn't get off the ground. I was the only one that said anything. But the second that you said the Paul Carriage moment, I was like, that would be right up there, and I'm probably happy to share that with everyone because
so good.
No one ever held me accountable for it, and I probably deserve it.
Well, you got no feedback off the back of it.
I think I must have scrambled well enough that like I don't know. I assume either they saw I made a group chat and thought, what a dickhead, or I was able to delete it and they hadn't seen it. But,
yeah, right.
Like, take it easy. I was 16. You know, wouldn't do that now.
Only so many 6 agains you can give away.
Yeah, that's right.
Try.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Mate, so is there any of those on the cards at the moment?
What's that?
Any of those girls still in?
No, absolutely not. No, that was butchered quite early on.
No, I love it.
But yeah, that's probably the biggest Paul Carriage moment of my life, and I mean it's pretty bad, but
it's so funny.
Could be worse.
It's so good. So on a little bit more of a serious note,
yeah.
Obviously there's a lot of discipline in terms of what you did in terms of your weight loss journey, and looking like an Adonis like you do now. Talk us through like that consistency piece and the discipline piece, and what the sort of crossover lessons that you've learned with content, and then also potentially with your training or with sport. So to give you context, like why I started this, it was more so learning thinking about the lessons and mindset that I sort of learned from sport when I was younger that I'm now implementing in business and everyday life. So if that makes sense, like what do you know what I'm asking?
100%. Yeah. I think I sort of made a big part of the thing early with the weight loss. I started doing the Coogee Stairs every Saturday with a group down there, and it's run by a guy called Ty Smith, and he's a player manager in the NRL, and he runs a business. Like they've got some players like Payne Haas, Keon, AFB, DWZ. They've got a lot of these guys who.
You wouldn't want to play in the middle against those guys.
Yeah, well, that's right, and they have built a career around discipline, and sort of few of those guys too, and they've spoken about this themselves, but. Probably at different points throughout the career have probably been a little bit off track or whatever, and Ty's definitely played a big role in them. And anyway, he runs this group not just for footy players, but for anyone that wants to go down every Saturday. And one of the boys I coach, and the bloke I coach with, who's his older brother, they've been doing it for years. And the guy I coach with came to me the week before finals, and he said, "Oh, it'd be good to take the team down." So I said, "Okay, yeah, like sweet, we'll go down." And I was sort of like, pretty overweight, about to start this challenge, and I was like, fuck, well, I'm not going to stand there and watch them. Like, I'll run with them. So I did, and I didn't miss a week unless I was away for like a year. And like I still go every Saturday when I can, like, because he talks at the start about sort of just doing it for yourself, and we're a community, but like you're here to work on yourself. And I don't know, it was just cool seeing like there's mums down there, there's like young kids and all these different people. And I think in terms of consistency, that was a massive piece for me, because like, Coogee Stairs, like, couldn't do anything fucking worse.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Sort of the way that the feeling evolved from like the first month was like so hard to just fucking get down there because I knew how hard it was. But then you reach a point where you actually look forward to it, not necessarily just because of the training, but like just seeing the people and being around that sort of energy. So I think I've tried to take that community, or like the importance of like the connection and doing it with people is so important. Like even now, like I run Wednesday night. We run the hills down in Coogee with the team I coach. And, I've said to the boys, like, because they're at the age now, like 18, some of them have finished school, some of them are doing their HSC. And I said to them, look, if you can't be fucked to run them, or like if you've had a big day or you're a bit sore, I'd rather you come down and pass the footy and hang out with the group. Like I don't need you. You've all proven to me that you're tough, and I know you'll run them when you can, but I'd rather you come down and be around the group. And I think there's so much more to get out of exercise than just the training.
1,000,000%.
It took me sort of learning that and going away from that extreme approach to sort of probably get the most consistency and longevity out of it, like I have in the last 18 months, because I think we lack that a lot still. Like, I think the whole mental health stuff, it's come such a long way and it's a big thing, but I think finding ways to, whether it's training or walking, or it can be anything, but bringing people together like that, it's just so important. So
I love it. And I think, like, even overarchingly prior, and you've sort of touched on it a little bit, but that's what we learn off team sports as well.
100%.
So, like, you know, growing up, you might play in a cricket team or a footy team, whatever, Oztag team, whatever.
Yeah.
That's, you know, we even now in life, like, my main sport I play is golf, but I try and play with the same group of blokes every week, because you go around and I don't play, go there and have a bit of fun, and you obviously want to play well, but you're there for that connection, that, you know, the community piece, and mate, absolutely, I love that, everything you sort of touched on there. That was great. In terms of sort of personal growth, what are your goals? Like, what's going? Is it grow the music? Is it just?
It's always so hard to sort of put anything. Like, I'm goal orientated in terms of, I try and break it down more in terms of
let's get into this then.
Short term, and, you know, like with my training, it'll be like a 6-week block. I might be working towards a certain body weight. Like, at the moment, like, I want to get under 90 kilos and took a pretty backward step last week. But sometimes I might be working towards a certain, like, for a long time, the goal for me, I want to be able to military press my body weight, and I'm like pretty close now. So it might be like that sort of goal. And that was something I took a lot from my time at Vision, is they're very like about setting goals and how important that is. But yeah, I think in terms of the music stuff and all that, like, for so long I was hesitant about, and people try and get in your ear about, like, oh, you know, you got to find your niche in content. And, like, there's probably some truth to that for some industries, but, like, if you want to start it to be anything, I was like, the page should just be a reflection of me. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of, sometimes I play music, sometimes I fuck around playing foot. Like, most of the time I'm fucking around, but I like footy, I train, like, sometimes I'm eating too much shit. Like, so I just want to reflect that and sort of do my best at sort of, I guess, in those different pursuits, like, keep getting better at what I'm doing, but just document the process. And when I get lucky enough to end up on a show or a podcast or something like that, and obviously that becomes part of it. But yeah, I probably should be better at setting goals around the career side of it, but I wouldn't really know where to start, to be honest. And then I think it sort of takes away from the fun of it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I suppose, like, if you probably looked at it 2 years ago and you're like, I'm going to start this piss take PT page, and then in 12 months I'm going to be a regular on Bloke,
mate,
you'd be like, do you know what I mean? That's
honestly, like, I will never forget the first time walking into the studio, because I've watched
How did that come about?
I've watched him for years. Well, he just reached out during the off season. He's like, do you want to hey mate, like,
did he know about you were Rue's cousin?
I don't know if he did.
That's fucking mad.
I think, like, he knows now.
Yeah, if
but I
not,
think
that's mad.
Because I think he asked me, and then I think I spoke to Guru about it, and then I think he mentioned something to Guru, and Guru was like, oh, that's my cousin. Fuck, no way. But, like, I used to, like, me and all the boys used to watch him. We used to during lockdown. I remember getting a case of his beer for the first time with the boys and watching, like, him and then, like, his show, and then Chad Townsend vlogs. We used to love watching Chad Townsend vlogs because Chad's just like a different cat, and, like,
you needed to collab with Chad.
Chad would always, I don't know how many of his vlogs you've seen, but, like, he eats like 2 eggs and avocado on bread. That's like his breakfast every day.
Yeah.
And we used to just love watching him every time he tells it, and you can just tell how excited he is by the breakfast. And it's the same every day, and his flat white that he makes. And, like, so we just sit there, we'd drink the Bloke beers, and we'd watch all, like, you know, YKTR Bloke and then Chad. So walking in for the first time, and it's like you're used to watching it on the screen, and then it's like, fucking hold on. Like, it's almost like a bit of a wig out, like being like, all of a sudden you're standing in it. You know, and trying to figure out your bearings about, oh, fuck, like, that's where they do everything. But yeah, he's such a good guy, Kempy. You know, like, he's very I love that he got a very interesting story about, you know, his sporting come up, but I think he essentially had to build his platform from scratch.
Yeah, and no one knew what a podcast was.
That's right. And, like,
but you know what though, his NRL career is like your content career.
Yeah,
legit. He changed from soccer and then 12 months was playing for the Broncos.
Yeah, he 180'd a few times, but he had a much, like, and he sort of downplays how good he was a lot. But he sort of had a pretty good couple of years there. But I would argue that like there was enough of a gap between that and him starting the content and how long it took to take off. Like it wasn't like he could leverage off
he's following
his career.
He would have 1,000 followers.
He had to build it from the start. I remember he reacted to Ronald's highlights. I remember watching him. Like that's when he was in the locker room on Facebook. This would have been like 2018.
Yeah.
I remember watching it at lunch at school. All of us like losing our shit about like, fuck, look at this guy. And then one of the boys, I think he used to play for the Broncos. And then like, so to see what he's been able to build and to now be able to be a guest on it and play a small part in it now is like sick. You know, it's crazy.
So the show that you guys do, how did you, like, did he give you much of a brief in terms of like, this is how you, or you just go be you?
I think, yeah, like so I went on a Monday
Please give
show.
me a footy reference with this too.
So I sort of got given a train trial in like October where he was like, you know, off season, people are away or whatever, come on, or would you like to come on? And he reached out and I was like, yeah, mad. Like, so went on and then he sort of came to me a few weeks later, a few months later, and he was like, floated the idea of doing Packer Up Boys and on the Friday show, and he sort of said the vibe of this show has always been like he's still with Shandor and he's done it with Maddie and a few others, but he was like, we review the Thursday show, we'll do a bit of a preview, but it's pretty loose, and sort of said like he wants the vibe to be that if people are driving home or knocking off, like it's just an easy listen sort of thing. So I think definitely fitted me in terms of like what I want to do, because I'm definitely not enough of a rugby league nerd at this stage to sort of dive into the depth of Monday with them, like with Rue and that.
Yeah.
But it's been great. Like it's, you know, like even like Matty is so good at what he does.
Yeah.
And even like he knows footy so much, you know, like so even getting to know him and
are you finding that you've subconsciously like taken a lot of learnings and implementing it in certain ways in the way you're doing stuff, or?
Yeah, I think like I don't know, it's definitely like little things you pick up in just conversations and the way they go about things, and it's also just really cool to see. And I'm very lucky. I've got a couple mates that do things that are a bit different in terms of, like guys that do content and stuff. Like we were talking about Benny Scarf before. Like he's a good mate of mine from school, and we're good mates now. It's interesting having conversations with guys where, you know, it's always about they're in the space and they understand it. So it's like if I was to say I'm thinking of doing this video concept, the response is never like, what? Or like, why? It's like, oh, well, yeah, like you should do it like this, or what do you think about this? And it's just a different approach. And seeing guys that are further down the road that have sort of done it already, it's always reassuring, and being able to go to them and
agree. From my point of view, Roasty's been really good like that with me. So
Legend,
if I have anything else I want to do, I sort of run it by him, and he sort of gives me the not yay or nay, but his sort of feedback on it, and a good way to go about it, or even a good way to change the way I've edited something or whatever it may be. Yeah, he's been really good in that regard.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to meet him. We did a thing with Common Sports together.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And yeah, legend. I hadn't met him yet. We'd had a bit to do with each other in terms of texting and stuff like that. And I knew he'd be a great bloke. Like everyone speaks so highly of him. But to meet him and like, you know, super down to earth guy. And
was that unanimous decision that you reckon?
Which one?
You took that.
I think so.
Changed my mind. I thought so as well.
I think so. But there's been no one that I've met in the rugby league space so far that hasn't just been a weapon.
Yeah, agree. It's very abundance mindset, and you got to compliment and credit people like Kempy, like even like Isaac John. I can't remember who else, but even like people like Chad who are looking to collab with, like I've done a podcast with Chad, like things like that. Yeah, they're looking to collab with and have that abundance mindset and you know, understand that it's all sort of growing the game, because in a lot of ways, like we're in a game that's played at the moment realistically in 2 states, and it's the number 1 in the country, which is insane.
100%.
So I think that, and the content piece is a big part of that, like the podcast space and everything like that. It's like AFL stuff can't compete with it at the moment. So
and honestly, like I think that does come back to the fans. Like you look at, because last 5-6 years you've had the content people. Now every club seems to have not just one but multiple fan content creators, and that sort of brings, like I love what the guys at the Tigers, like you got NRL Fanatic, you got a guy Matty G, and a few of the other boys there, where they're doing videos. I say like every time the Tigers have won this year, and luckily they've been winning a fair bit, so they can do a fair few of these videos, but they essentially get like as many fucking Tigers fans as they can, and they've got their claws out and they're yelling, and it sort of bridges that gap between the fans and the the players and the sport. You know what I mean? And I think that makes it so much easier to be engaged with and follow and connect with. And obviously I'm not as in. Not as in. I'm not in AFL like I am in rugby league, but just seeing how many there are, like even the Para Cave and like some of the podcast stuff that the other sport boys have been diving into lately, like that's mad, and that didn't exist 5-6 years ago. So
Correct.
The more that continues to grow, I think you'll see the game grow
as well.
too.
Yeah,
100%.
For sure. Best chicken burger in Sydney.
I'm just gonna have to like rapid fire a few at you.
Right.
I don't know how to rank them. I love Neo's Grill. So they got a joint at Earlwood and a joint at Ramsgate. I haven't had Ramsgate, but Earlwood, gun.
That's niche.
So yeah. Oh, we're gonna get real niche. Anar Chicken, Croydon Parks. That's like a Lebanese family joint. I've had people. They've also got a shop at Homebush, but I haven't had the Homebush one. But people compare that to like the OG Eljana. Like
Okay.
early days.
Yeah. When before it got dry.
That's really good. Yeah, that's right. Little L's is pretty tried and tested.
Yeah.
Ogalo slaps when it's on.
I love a garlic.
Yeah, it absolutely slaps when it's on. Olay in like material is really good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think other areas down the Shire way. You got Flame Coal. They do a good one. Northern Beaches, you got like Freshy Chicken.
Yeah.
That's gun.
Yeah,
it's
so
gun.
good.
I was blown away by that. Man, there's so many. We're so spoiled.
Yeah,
I actually get quite fired up talking about it. Like, when we start talking about, like, these
Well, I was
people just
going to
don't get
ask
their flowers.
sandwiches too, but if you got that many.
Yeah, well, we go on to sandwiches. So it's just crazy. Like, when I started doing like the food stuff, it was just an excuse to fucking eat like shit.
Let's get dribbly as he is.
Yeah. But I first place I ever did was Mascot Charcoal Chicken, because I stumbled across it one day. I was going to Mascot Oval to watch a game and stopped in there. Couldn't believe it was like $9 at the time. And this was like when most burgers were 13, 14. They were 9. It was fucking massive. It was gone. I was like, how good's this? Anyway, I did the review there. It's like $12 these days, right? Which is still fucking gun for a chicken burger. $12.
Yeah.
Anyway, go into the Google reviews and it's like some dickhead's like, oh, like, you know, I remember when these were like $8.40. And it's like, you got all these shops that are family run or like they're small businesses where they wouldn't know how to use Google reviews or market properly. So if you click on it and you didn't know,
You just
you'd
said
be like,
that.
like, let's say if you were driving past or you're working in the area, like, fuck, where should we eat? So you Google it and the first 3 reviews are shit, but like actually it's gun. Like, it's just not fair. So I was like, it'd be cool to just do a show where, regardless of how big it is or whatever, at least you're sort of going in there. I never tell them I'm going in there or anything like that. Like I don't try and get free food out of it.
Yeah.
Go away, eat it somewhere else, and just give like a raw review on it.
Love it.
So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been
Yeah,
good.
it's great. Is there? Maybe we shouldn't say that. I was going to say, is there any that aren't first grade approved that you've done? I've seen one.
There was one. There's only been one so far, and that was like Sal's. It was like American style pizza, and I sort of said in the thing like, it's just not my preference. And honestly, like for that, for me, it always comes down to like price. So I've had a few people be like, oh, like you paid $19 for that, and you say so it's approved. I'm like, yeah, because like it's really high quality as a burger, so it's like you don't have to pay more for it. Obviously, you know what I mean? Like, whereas you know with the pizza, it was like whatever I was paying for it was like, I can go and get a proper Italian one for less. So therefore, like, I can't really approve this. It was probably at a point in the series as well where I was like, I need to not approve something at some point. Like, otherwise, you're just a guy that used to be like fat going around just filling his boots. Like, yeah, it's all good, boys. Like,
making an excuse to eat junk food.
yeah.
I love it. I want to get a quick review on the season.
So far,
What's your overall thoughts on how it's going? Who's your biggest improving team? Who's sort of blown you away a bit?
I admire a lot the Bulldogs because I think first few rounds I was watching them and I was like, their D's really good. They're going to be the real deal, and they'll find their way with their attack. And then it's funny in rugby league how much things can change. Like in a few weeks, there's all this noise, all this pressure. Everyone's talking about how Penrith look unbeatable. They put 50 on Melbourne, and then the Dogs come out and beat them without Crichton. I think that's completely changed the trajectory of their season. So I think we've all been talking about on podcasts and stuff about, you know, what are they going to do with their halves? I think unless they win the comp, they're going to get bagged out. They've found themselves in this dynamic where they've got an abundance of halves now.
Yeah.
In terms of like they've got Mitch Woods waiting in the wings, but then they've got Galvin who they're playing at 7. And if they don't win the comp, there's going to be someone who's got something to say. You know, like it's sort of like a lose-lose they find themselves in.
That's just the fan base, though. Like they literally, this pretty much sums them up. I can't remember who the games were against because I'm going to be, but like 3 weeks ago, it was O'Sullivan needs to be our halfback. Galvin needs to be 6, Burton needs to go to left centre. Then next game, Crichton gets injured. They do exactly that, and everyone's whinging why didn't they play Bronson Cherry?
I know, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. It's going to be an interesting season because I think everyone watched the first 5 weeks and each week were like Penrith, like no one's going to get near them essentially. I still think there's an aspect of that. Like I think by the back end of the year.
I think there still is. Like if it's staying up for that long.
Yeah.
And then there's also an element of believing your own bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think Ivan's the best at not letting his team do that. But I reckon like that, putting 50 on the Storm. I reckon you're gonna start believing your own bullshit.
Oh, for sure. And I think also like part of them I reckon would be glad to have lost now.
Yeah.
Because I think at the end of the day, whenever the loss came, it was sort of going to be like everyone would be like, oh, they'll forget pretty quick, you know. So if they'd gone 24 rounds or something, then lost. But I think
because like I'll ask you a question. Regardless of whatever happened last week, whoever Penrith are playing, I don't even know who they're playing this week. Would you bet against them?
Absolutely not.
Nothing changed. And with the Bulldogs, there's still the same because they came out and they did all the little things right, which is what we learn in all aspects of life. If you do the little things right, to get dribbly, that you're gonna fucking end up doing things well. They went out and they played their best game. Penrith probably played. I'm not going to say Penrith played their worst because I think the Bulldogs actually did come out and beat them, and beat them fair and square and absolutely punch them in the face. But like that still doesn't change any of my perception of what's sort of gone in the season in one week. And that's what I'm saying with the halves issue we were just talking about.
Yes.
Like you can't just keep flipping and flopping every single week. Like,
no, you can't. Yeah. I also like, the Dogs came out and I said a few weeks ago and, copped a bit of it, like understandably because it's my team, but I sort of said at the Roosters at their best, I think they can beat them. But what's hard about Penrith, and this is what the Dogs did really well, like they sort of played with wide shape, but they really attacked the middle well. And like, it's hard to do with Penrith in terms of like offloads and shit like that. Like the Roosters did it for 10 minutes. Rob Toyo scores, we're up 4-0. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, Gus Gould. I'm like, fuck, they're full doing it. This is mad. But when you're like tipping on a lot and you're offloading late and you're trying to play like that, and like the Dogs are getting a shape out of their own end, they look like a different team. When you're doing that though, the likelihood of errors goes through the roof. Right?
Yeah.
So we saw that with the Roosters. They dropped 2 balls, you blink and you're fucking down 40-4 all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Against Penrith. That's what's so hard about beating them. But the Dogs just did such a good job of playing in a way that disrupted their defensive system without compromising it with errors.
Yeah.
And it was a weird game because like there was a 20-minute period where it was error for error for error for error. But I don't know how much of it, like Kempy was saying, like he reckons it's the milestone game for Cleary, and like there's definitely a record there that they don't win those games for Cleary, unfortunately for him. But also I think like there was just an aspect of like Serraldo knows the system because he was one of the guys that helped build it. And they were just able to execute. And I think it's probably the most important win. When we'll look back on their season, it just takes so much air out. Anything you say about the Dogs now, even if it is still valid, like you were just saying about the halves and, doesn't change it. But it's like we know that Galvin at halfback can beat the Penrith Panthers. Yeah. And, you can spin it however you want. Oh, like they didn't play well.
I totally agree, everything you said. The only thing I'll say to that is the noise that you're hearing at the moment out of the Bulldogs this week. Yeah. They'll get beat by Para this week, if they get beat by Para this week, and the narrative will be...
It'll change anyway, that's right. But it's just a big
Rugby League soap opera.
It is, and like that's what makes it great, but it's also like, the reality is, he can turn around now and be like, beat Penrith.
Yeah.
No one had beaten Penrith, we beat Penrith.
Yeah.
And that won't shut the noise off, but it's a nice draw card to have. Like they put 50 on the Storm the week before. Yeah. So I think... Yeah, it's interesting. I think they'll be there at the end. I think Broncos, again, will be there at the end. And then it'll just be a matter of like...
Wires, Tigers, someone can pull it together at the end.
Some of them. And I'm really excited to see the Tigers come up against one of those sides. Yeah. Because I think we'll get a real good gauge. And that's not to suggest that they're not up to it. I just think it's the reality is like they're playing some good footy at the moment. And their style, I think, if they're on, that's the kind of style that can disrupt a team like Penrith.
For sure.
But it'll just be a matter of can their defense hold up,
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a great year. Like I don't remember the comp being this close, ever.
No.
We say it every year, but
yeah. Fate of the universe on the line. Who wins comp?
Hard to go past Panthers. I still reckon. Like after last year, like the reality is too, we saw Cleary do the exact same 2-point field goal where he ran back 4 kilometres to kick it, against the Titans earlier in the year. Like, them fucking up that play was a very rare thing to see.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be there at the back end. They're not going to go undefeated. They're going to have Origin to get through and stuff, but I still think there's a lot of upside in them, which is scary. So if my life depended on it, hard to go past them.
Are you chooks there anywhere?
Yeah, I think they I think they will be. I think they should be.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Like, I think we might get lucky in Origin in terms of not having a heap relative to other years, which would be great because, like, let's say if they don't pick DCE again, having him there to steer the ship and Walker, and we might be able to bank a few wins when other teams are sort of dropping some games they wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah.
I think that's important, but we need to make the top 4 if we're going to do it, like...
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
As history would suggest, but... Yeah. I think we're still just too far apart in terms of best to worst at the moment. So...
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Origin prediction?
Fuck, it just depends on who we pick, eh? I hope they pick, like, if they're going to pick Murray, pick him as like a middle, pick him as a 13, like,
yeah.
Don't pick him on an edge. But
I think with Martin out, I think that'll probably be the way now, though.
What, they pick Murray on an edge?
Well, Liam Martin's going to be injured. He's done his knee.
Yeah.
So you'll have, there's still Angus and Hudson. But who were the Australian back rowers?
You got Preston.
Yeah,
killing it. Like, that's the other thing. Like,
they all play left, though. Oh, Preston plays right. Preston plays right.
And, like, Kebby alluded to this the other day, but he was like, Queensland would have picked Preston earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm New South Wales through and through, but I tend to agree. Like, I think how much longer does he have to be braining it the way he's braining it to get a crack? And I'm sick of seeing them do that thing where they give a guy a crack, but it's off the bench. Yeah. He's in through the middle for 5 minutes or something. It's just like, fuck, man. Like, just, he's the best back rower in the comp right now on form. Back him in. Like, just let him fucking play. Like, you don't have the luxury of losing again if you're Laurie Daly, realistically. And, like, just as a state, like, we need to fucking win. Like.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm sorry, if he's doing that, you can say whatever you want about Galvin. If he's doing how way he's playing off the back of Lockie Galvin, what's he going to do off the back of, say, Moses or Cleary or Luai even?
100%. And, the other one that's a big one, I think, is Crichton's obviously, that's like Stephen. Crichton is racing the clock to be back.
Yeah.
But I think, like, he's so important to that team.
Yeah.
Like, especially defensively and just as a leader. So I think personally he is a good shout at being the next captain.
Yeah, probably.
Like, you hear a lot of yarns about, he plays for Samoa and a lot of, like, he should be playing for Australia, like that old school yarn. But, mate, he's such a good leader. He's so passionate. Like, I think if he's playing, we're a lot more likely. And that's just a matter of that other centre spot. Like, it's that age-old thing. If Latrell's on, like, we're on, And then I hope they pick Teddy, but I don't know anymore. I don't know if they're past it. It's so hard, like, with him. And obviously, like, I'm Roosters bias, right?
Yeah.
But his numbers last year were, like...
Yeah, they're absurd.
Just as good as that breakout year in 18 at the Roosters, like his first year at the Roosters. It's like, he didn't even get a look in last year. Like, surely... Like, I think we need to do a better job at picking players who suit Origin, as opposed to, everyone talks about, two Penrith.
I agree in a way, but I also agree that, like, the way Edwards and Cleary click, last year I think Edwards was busted, so it probably might have been an opportunity to pick Teddy again. Yeah. But I think the way Edwards has started the year, those 5 games were fucking absurd.
And I rate Edwards, don't get me wrong, but I think, like, it's interesting because...
But even, like, you play Tommy Turbo.
Yeah.
He's playing unbelievable
when he's on,
right now. Is he a wing opportunity, you think?
Mate, if he's playing really well, like, he's every chance.
Yeah.
I just think we need to do a better job of picking guys. Like, we try and... When they pick that Penrith system, like, the game's too fast at Origin and everyone's too good. Like, if you look, like, even that Moses try to win the series up in Suncorp, half an opportunity just being able to come off his right foot and score, right? Like, I think you need to pick guys who are able to play off the back of offloads or a half chance as opposed to trying to structure your way out of a side. Like, the other reality is you're playing against a Billy Slater coach team. Like, you're probably not going to be able to outsmart them.
Yeah.
You need to pick guys that
unless
can generate...
you have Ivan coaching.
Yeah, well, but you need to pick guys who can generate ruck speed and momentum and offloads and then execute off the back of it, as opposed to that system. So I still think they'll pick Yo.
Absolutely. He'll be captain. He's already captain.
But I hope he's not the 13. I hope they pick Murray as the 13.
Play him up front.
Yeah, like they did when we won. And obviously Murray wasn't there last year, so it's interesting because a lot of people say Yo will get picked as the 13, but last time they were both available, Murray was the 13, and he's been playing good footy, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. But the 6-man bench is going to change a lot of things too there.
Yeah, has that been confirmed?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And our middles are going to be like AFB, Payne Haas, Mitch Barnett, Spencer.
We're spoiled for choice.
Stefano, if you want, whatever.
Yeah.
Mate, 3 quick questions to get you out of here. Very grateful for your time. 16-year-old Tom waddles through the door. What are you telling him?
Just fucking try and figure out. Don't try and figure out what you want to do. Just try and figure out who you want to be. Because I think that's probably the most important thing. Like I've done multiple degrees at uni that I didn't finish, and I think a lot of young guys, and I tell the young blokes I coach now, people go, I want to do this. Like we live in a world now, like most people end up having multiple careers at different points, right? I think trying to figure out the kind of person you want to be, like what sort of makes you tick. Like some people, it's all about helping people. Some people are really driven by performance and goals and numbers and stuff. So try and figure out who you are and what sort of motivates you, and off the back of that, the rest becomes clear.
Fucking clip that. How good.
That shit up,
if we were talking to the same person, what's your go-to cheat meal? I know you've got
go-to. So
most of them are documented, but
I've got
your favourite cheat
my
meal?
go-to at Ogalo. I'll get the snack pack and a hot jumbo burger. I'll double up there. But also Neo's Grill. So anytime I go out to Homebush, whether it's for a footy game or a concert, it's not even that on the way. It's still a bit out of the way, but we'll stop in at Neo's Grill and I'll get a half chicken, a triple burger. I'll just go fucking bananas.
Yeah, right.
They're my top 2 probably.
Love it. And I know you say you don't play much golf, but you're playing tomorrow. Your dream golf foursome. So you and 3 others, dead or alive.
Yeah.
That you basically want to spend 4 hours with. And you can't pick me. I'm carrying your bag.
Okay. Well, you're there though.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good question. Go Morgan Wallen.
I love that. It's a great pick.
I'd go my grandma. I never met her.
Love that.
So it'd be weird trying to impress her playing golf for the first time ever, and also trying to meet her for the first time. But
hey mum, Nan, this is Morgan.
Yeah. Hey Nan, this is Morgan Wallen. So yeah, my grandma, Morgan Wallen, great start. Who else? I assume you mean people who are
whoever you want.
whoever you want.
Literally whoever you want. You got one more.
Probably. Take Joey.
Take Joey.
Especially if we go in the clubhouse after.
That's a fucking rogue. That's a rogue foursome.
Yeah.
There'd be some yarns being spun.
Yeah. So Nan, Morgan Wallen, and Joey.
I love it. Mate, very grateful for this. Tom Jaeger, everybody. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.